Hello everyone, I've got 3 8x10 canvases and we're going to do a triptych pour. I'm going to start as usual with white. And then I've got 2 cups of leftover paint from other pours. Then I'm going to add it all together and we'll see what we get. Okay, so in here is a mix of blues, red, brown, copper, greens, maybe some gold. I'm not quite sure all what is in this cup. So this middle one is my favorite. I love these striations of color that we've got in here. And I love how the paint layers over itself, the different colors, and then it kind of stretches out and gets a little bit translucent, and you can see the colors through one another. Let's get a little closer so you can see what I'm talking about. So in this middle one, right in this section right here, you can see the light blue layered over the green, layered over the copper, layered over the red brown. And I just think that's so pretty. I love that. And then the super bright sap green, which normally isn't one of my favorite colors. I prefer more of the Kelly green, but this one is just so pretty. And the way the colors have layered over one another is just awesome. And then you'll kind of notice if you do this yourself, as you let the paint just sit after you're done tilting and done manipulating it, as you let it sit, you will see the cells kind of pop through sometimes. And that's when the air bubbles in the paint are kind of popping and lifting and moving. So you'll see it kind of move and do its own thing a little bit. Not to a great extent unless you're off level with where your paints are sitting. In that case you will lose paint, and it will change a little bit more depending on how much paint you have on the canvas and how much it's tilted, etc. But by and large, these do change a little bit as they sit, and you see more of the cells pop through. As I've said in my other videos, I don't use silicone or any kind of dimethicone or any additives to it to create cells. That's not the look I'm going for personally. And I do kind of like it sometimes when a few pop up here and there. That's not too much, but when you get the big patterns of them popping through, it reminds me too much of what growing bacteria looks like under a microscope. So it's just not my personal aesthetic, but if that's what pleases you, you go for it. You do you, and yeah, I hope you do try this out because it's a lot of fun. It is easy, and you can look at watching other people do it and you think, oh, it's so difficult, I can't do that. You can. Some people have better luck picking out colors, but I promise you, every single artist that has ever lived has had a bad day and has created what they think looks like junk. But they can turn around and show it to someone else, and that someone else loves it. So it is very much in the eye of the beholder when it comes to art. So I'm going to take my heat gun and run it over the top real lightly. You don't want to use any kind of heat source on this too closely because you can cook the surface of the paint and get a weird texture. You can also burn it, and then it creates fumes that are unhealthy for you to breathe in. So if you're using heat on your work, please exercise caution. Don't do it too strongly or too long or too close. If you see steam or smoke coming off of your work, that's bad. So eliminate the heat at that point. If you haven't seen a heat gun before, this is what it looks like. It's also called an embossing tool. And you use it in paper crafting to melt embossing powder or to heat dry things like watercolor, stuff like that. Inexpensive. They run, most of them run like 20 bucks. Some of them are more. But you can also get like a creme brulee torch for the kitchen. They usually run $15, $20. So I did get quite a few pop through on this end piece here, with the red-brown being the dominant color. But they're not all white. Some of them are green with the green popping through the red-brown, and then this green you've got the red-brown popping through. So some pretty dichotomy we have going on that piece. This middle one is my favorite. But this end too, it's kind of hard for you to see on camera. I will do a better close-up of these when they're dry. But in this one you can see, especially in this section right here, a lot of the striations of different colors. And I think these will look really cool when they're mounted together on the wall. They'll look pretty cool. So here is the Triptych dry. 3 8x10 canvases. And then the last triptych I did is a little easier to see kind of where the paint flowed in between the canvases. And this one, it's a little bit more difficult. I think these two, you can kind of see where they meet, where they went together. But this one, kind of see it, but this is a little bit more different in terms of the composition than these turned out to be. So I still like it. I actually really like the difference between these two and this one. And this middle one is my favorite. It's almost sort of a rainbowy kind of effect right through here. Bring it up so you can see better. I've almost got like almost a pinky tone in there. And it's the red brown, but there's the light blue layered over it. So it just kind of gives it almost a pinky feel to it. It's really pretty. And I like how this green kind of broke through in that section and the layering of the paint there. So that one is really pretty. And that metallic shine it gives. I love that. And then this one we had quite a few cells pop through. And more of that striations of the paint, kind of that geode effect. And that one's going to be super reflective because it's got so much of that red brown on top. And that turquoise up in the middle. Then this one had a lot more white stay visible, and a lot of these cells have popped through with the white. And then that red brown still shows up with the metallic reflective quality to it. So these are not varnished yet. They've got a couple weeks, well, probably more like a week to go before I can varnish them. But you can see the interference that I put in there. It's really kind of showing up in the light in that green. So yeah. So here is the Triptych dry and varnished. I've got 2 coats of Triptych gloss, medium, and varnish. There's that. So I like this one better than the polyacrylic for a number of reasons. This does not give off any harsh fumes, and the polyacrylic isn't bad for fumes, but you do. After a while, you can start to get a little lightheaded and headachy, which is what I had going on with it. Again, not bad, and if you have open windows, you probably won't notice it, but it's wintertime in Michigan, and so I don't have open windows very often. And I kept having issues with brush strokes with the polyacrylic, really significant when it dried, and I couldn't get rid of them. So I was like, for an alternative, tried this. It is a lot more expensive for the quantity than the polyacrylic. However, it's easier to use, and I thin this with a tiny bit of water when I use it, so it does go a little bit further, but that also allows it to flow over the canvas easier, and it's self-leveling, so you get fewer of those brush strokes. So that's my varnish of choice. Let's go in for close-up beauty shot so you can see how glossy that is. And if you look for it, you can see the texture, but it's not bad. Like, you don't automatically see it when you're looking at it. But it's have a really nice gloss to it, and it helps brighten up, liven up the colors, because these can dry back pretty dark, especially if you're using darker colors. Like this darker hunter green in here. So I like it for that. This is actually upside down. That goes like that. But nice and glossy and shiny. So a finished piece, all 3 of them together, mounted together, will be 30 inches by 8 inches. So not too big, but I really like the flow of these and the colors, and I just really like how it turned out. So let me know in the comments if you've tried a triptych, if you like it, if you don't like it. They are a lot of fun, but there's a lot of variability to them. So if control is something that you enjoy, this medium is probably going to stretch your limits a little bit. Because when you, like I mentioned before, when you're tilting, it's going to change. So what you have in your head may not always come out on the canvas, because I like to see these paints have a mind of their own. They tend to move how they want to, which I find really fun, but I will admit sometimes it's a little bit frustrating when you have something in your head and you just can't get it to come out on the canvas. So, but this one I really like. It was an experiment. It was a leftover pour, so really happy with it. And yeah. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions, or if there's anything I can help answer. Other than that, we will let you guys have a good day, and catch you on the next one. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.